Sorry, guys, that I ended part one kind of abruptly. Okay, so if y'all haven't watched part one, if y'all have watched part one but y'all still want a pre dialogue, here's how it goes. The secret world of Arrietty is obviously about Arrietty, who is this small little human called a borrower. And borrowers are people that are little people that take stuff from big human beings. Small stuff like sugar, cookies, all the works, simple stuff like that. Just mostly food and supplies that they need in order to survive. Now, everything is going good and well. Arrietty and her family, which is her mom and her dad, are living a pretty happy life. Her father is the main borrower that goes looking for supplies, and Arrietty helps her mother. Arrietty helps her mother cook and sew and everything like that. But there are times where Arrietty will go out into the human world and gather some stuff because she really wants to be a borrower. But it's only at a certain age that she can become a borrower. So anyway, the part I was at was that Arrietty met this human named Sean. And Sean, unfortunately, is very sick. He has a very weak heart. Anyway, he's very sick. He has a very weak heart. So most of the time, he is in bed. He is in bed. And yes, throughout, it isn't just a throwaway joke. They really do show throughout the movie of him actually having a weak heart. So anyway, what I was about to say. Oh yeah. So anyway, because unfortunately, when her father figures out that she was lying about not getting caught when she went to get that bee leaf for her mother, he is telling her not to go looking for the human again. But unfortunately, Sean leaves a sugar cube and a note. And she tells her parents about it. Her father tells her not to do it. But Arrietty look, looks at the paper that says you forgot something and looks at the sugar cube. She does. She gives the sugar cube back to Sean and tells Sean to leave her and her family alone because borrowers and human beings can never get along because human beings are very dangerous in this realm. So yeah, to their point of view, humans are dangerous. Arrietty slowly learns Sean is really just a normal guy who just wants to have a friend. And he thought he could be friends with the little people because his mother used to tell him all about that. And it seems long ago that his mother may have met Arrietty's grandpa, who who happened to see who happened to see what who happened to see the little people, and because of that, she made them this custom-made dollhouse. And let me tell you, the best thing that I saw in this thing was that dollhouse. Look at that dollhouse. That dollhouse was a masterpiece. Like, chef's kiss for that dollhouse. I would pity anybody who would throw that dollhouse away. Because look, if y'all watch that movie, look inside that dollhouse. Pause it and look at that dollhouse. Because it is beautiful. I look at the inside of this dollhouse. I'm like, if this was a real house, this would be the best house I ever seen. Man, that thing was beautiful. Forget Barbie houses. That house was beautiful. And it's ironic that I say that because I used to own a Barbie house though. but still, forget Barbie houses. That house is amazing. That house was beautiful. And I like... Anyway. Now, as I was saying, Sean unfortunately, when he tries to interfere with Arrietty and her family, that unfortunately made Arrietty's dad decide that they need to move away. And well, do they? Well, yes. They start packing their They start packing their bags, and Arrietty tells Sean, "I appreciate that you were trying to help, but unfortunately, my dad says we have to move." Sean obviously feels upset about that. Arrietty pretty much makes it clear there's nothing he can do to change their minds. So, unfortunately, they all get ready to pack. But then, Hara, who is the main caretaker for Sean, also his Uncle Jessica. But Uncle Jessica, unfortunately, keeps leaving in and out, so mostly Hara be taking care of him. So anyway, unfortunately, Hara starts to notice Sean is acting a little weird, and she's always been skeptical that little people exist. So, when she finally finds their home, unfortunately, Arrietty's mom, Homely, I think it's Homely, unfortunately, when she sees Homely, Arrietty's mom, she captures her, puts her in a jar, wraps the jar with foil, and puts holes in the thing so obviously Homely can be able to breathe. And she wants to expose the little people. But unfortunately, Arrietty, when Arrietty notices that her mother is missing, she goes looking for her mother and figures out that one of the humans mistook her. So she asks Sean for help, and Sean figures out that it was Hara who took Homely. I don't know how to say it. I'm just gonna say Homely. Anyway, so Sean and Arrietty go on a rescue mission and find Homely, and Arrietty frees Homely while Sean distracts Hara. And Hara before sent some exterminators to scare off to scare off Arrietty and her parents. But unfortunately it was too late, and by the time when the exterminators asked where can they look around, Hara had already discovered that everything to prove that the little people were real, all the evidence is gone. Every evidence that she last had is gone. The dollhouse is back to normal. Oh, if I forgot to tell you, I meant to tell y'all that Sean took a piece of the dollhouse away, which was the kitchen, and put it in Arrietty's home. So he had to put that back in order to show that to make Hara look crazy, and it works. But also, Aunt Jessica sees that the little teapot that was in the dollhouse is filled with tea now because Arrietty's mom, Homely, used them, and when she sees this, she realizes there are little people. And Sean says, "Yes, there are little people, but they're not like Hara describes. They're not thieves. They're actually really nice." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, we have to tell your mother. Oh, she'll be so happy after all those times wishing for it to be real. It really is." He's like, "Sean, it doesn't really matter now. The little people are gone." And you see, they actually do move away. And I forgot to tell y'all that they met another borrower named Spiller. He's not really like that much part of the story. They just randomly bring him in because Arrietty's dad got hurt while he was trying to find a good route for them to travel in order to, move. So anyway, yeah, it doesn't really show where they move to. The movie just ends with them floating in a teapot, a bigger teapot, not like a small teapot, a big teapot to them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It that's the whole entire story. There really is not much to it. Nothing really happens. Oh, but I also did forget to mention that Sean's parents, they aren't dead in this. Sean's parents actually are busy working. So that's why they sent Sean to um to Aunt Jessica so that she could be able to take care of him since he has a weak heart. But besides that, yeah, that's the whole entire story. Oh, but Sean did get to see Arrietty before she left on her trip. And Arrietty thanks Sean for being a wonderful friend. And then that's the last day he ever sees of her. And that's it. That's the story, the end. I thought, how, if I had to give the secret word of Arrietty, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I really have nothing against this movie. There are not that much stuff to nitpick about it. There really is not. I gotta be I gotta be honest with you. Really, when you think about it, this movie is so simple and so like it's kind of so normal. It's not even cliche. There's no love story. There's no there's no big dramatic villain. It's just horror, and like she's not even really shown that much as a villain until like the very end. So you can't even say she's like a big She's not like the big villain of the story. She was just a villain that they used at the end. If anything, they didn't really even need to have that whole villain climax thing. It would have just been fine if they had cut that out. So I feel like that is the only nitpick I have. This movie didn't even really need a villain. I gotta be honest with that. It really didn't. Because when you think about it, Hara didn't even really show that signs like she was hunting little people. She never really showed that sign. She just showed she was interested, but really knew that nothing would happen. So really, that's it. There's nothing to say about it. I wish Aunt Jessica had been in it more. That's another thing I got to nitpick because Aunt Jessica was not in this enough. Like she had little bits and pieces, but I wish she had been there throughout the whole entire thing. The only person we see who the whole entire thing is Arrietty, her family, Hara, and Sean. But Aunt Jessica, we needed more of Aunt Jessica. I liked her. And like when she genuinely got happy about the little people, I thought that was so adorable. So anyway, yeah. There's nothing really to say about this. It was another good Studio Ghibli film. I have no negative responses about this thing. I just have two slight nitpicks, but no negative responses. So for all you people who want to watch The Secret World of Arrietty, but don't know if you should. Either watch it on like Funimation or something, or go watch it on HBO Max. Warning: if you do watch it on HBO Max, it has the English dub, and let me tell you, the English dub ain't that bad. I actually really liked it. None of their voices even sounded that weird. They actually sounded pretty normal. See, that's what happens when you get people from Disney. Sometimes some people from Disney can make it work. Sometimes other people from Disney can't make it work. But this Disney crew, they did it well. And you know how I know which one dubbed this? They have Bridget Medler in there. You can't fool me. I know that woman's voice anywhere. That woman's voice. Like, I have watched Good Luck Charlie. I have watched Lemonade Mouth. You cannot not tell me whose voice that is, because I will recognize her voice immediately. I didn't even have to see the dang opening credits where it shows where they show the voice cast. I don't even need to see it. Hearing her voice, I already knew it. It was obvious. It was way too obvious. I wasn't sure who she was going to play, but now I know. She played the main character. I knew her voice. I liked everybody else's voices too. They actually sounded pretty calm. They sounded pretty vigilant. They sounded pretty normal for a Studio Ghibli film. Not too overdramatic or anything. Although Arrietty's mom was overdramatic, but that's the point of her character. She's overdramatic. The dad is just pretty much one of those dads that doesn't really talk all that much. Actions speak bigger than words when it comes to it. He'll say some things, but he don't say that much. Sean, there was not much to him. He mostly was a kind spirit and wanted to, he actually kind of had a dark way of thinking of things, like saying, sometimes you just gotta accept fate, even if fate is you nearly dying. And I'm like, dang man, that was dark. Sheesh, that was dark. But Arrietty's like, no. Sometimes you have to stand up and fight. And I agree with Arrietty. Sometimes you do have to stand up and fight. But I agree with her father in saying before, sometimes you just gotta run. You can't always fight. Sometimes you just gotta run away. And I understand where he's coming from with that. Sometimes you just can't always fight. It's just sometimes there's nothing you can do. But anyway, yeah, like I said, that is the end of my video. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and if this convinces you to watch that, then I have done my job. Peace.